All right. So the 7 ways, effective ways of communicating, the ones I'm going to touch on is we're going to touch on talking slowly, active listening, maintaining good eye contact, awareness of our body language as we had spoken about, adaptation, expressing your emotions, and having a positive attitude about it. By the way, on their handouts, I have exactly, the same follow-up. This you can keep it for your notes. And some of the key points to talking slowly kind of basically, it's self-explanatory. It explains itself. The key to an effective communication is clear communication. You want to talk in a way that the receiver, your audience, your customer can understand you. I always think about it, just think of it as you have all the time in the world. Just take your time, say what you got to say. It might take you a little bit longer, but at least you get your message across, you get your point across. There's a lot of times I come across peers, friends, relatives that, whenever they speak to someone, they speak so fast that the whole point of their message went way over your head. So it kind of turns you off, slow down a little bit, think about what you're about to say before you say it. Usually when I do my Quest presentations, before I even begin my presentation, I usually spend about like 15 minutes just talking with the customers. We're talking about any and everything, just building that relationship with them, getting to know that customer. So I never normally just jump right into the presentation. I just get yourself acclimated, talk to them, get to know a little bit about them, and just see, basically getting a feel of how your customers are. Next is actively listening. Also kind of self-explanatory. Communication is a two-way street. Basically, you want to balance the amount of talking and listening. You want to listen, talk, you want to give your receiver a chance to give some input, give some feedback. The Quest script is kind of designed that same way. There are sections that you'll be telling and informing, and there's times when you'll get feedback. You'll ask the customer, and then you relate to the customer. You get an understanding from the customer. So this makes the customer feel that you care about them, you value their opinion, you value what they have to say. So balancing that amount of time you speak and the amount of time you listen kind of builds a common ground and gives you a shared commonality between you and your receiver. Another thing, some of you might see yourselves in here, but maintaining good eye contact. This is one of the important things. Sometimes people are very shy. They don't tend to look at people when they speak, but it's very good to look at people when you speak. It gives a sense of confidence. It makes it looks like you're trustworthy. It makes looks like you know what you're talking about. And it's more, when you show them more eye contact, they're more able to listen to what you have to say. They're more welcoming and receive what you have to say. So just maintain eye contact. It's just a matter of confidence. It shows interest into the other person. Okay, our body language. Just as I mentioned briefly earlier, 93% of what we say, 93% of what we don't say is already displayed through our body. Only 7% of our actual words is what actually comes out to the receiver. So the way you position yourself, the way you talk to a customer gives away a lot of information to them. So there's actually 3 categories that you can either place yourself in. You can either be assertive, you can either be passive, or you can either be aggressive. And the ideal position is to be assertive. You want to be open and welcoming to the customer. You want to show that you're open to their suggestion, open to hear what they have to say. Their posture got to be good. You're sitting up, you're looking at them. it just shows that, you're not turning them away, you're welcoming. You're welcoming for what they have to say. And the way you speak to them as well. You want to speak in a smooth, calm, firm, or relaxed. You don't want to be too serious. This is something it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be excited. So you want to talk in a way, that excites not only you, but excites the customer as well. And importantly, make sure you keep a smile on your face. Okay, adaptation. I kind of touched on this earlier too. This is where you get to know your customer, you get to know your audience, you get to know your surrounding. You observe their body language, you observe how they feel about a certain aspect. For example, you could be talking to your customer about doing your presentation, and you can either gauge whether they're going to be more towards the Rastelli products or more towards the cutlery products. So knowing your customer, knowing your audience, know how their voice or their tone are, and know what they're more willing to accept. You can either tailor your words so that way they can accept it in a positive way. So you kind of have to. The main point of this is knowing your audience and know your surrounding. Adapt to your surrounding. The next one is expressing the emotions. Whenever you express yourself, you want to be truthful and honest about this. This gives off a sense of trustworthiness to your customer. You also want to be precise and exact about what you're talking. You don't want to beat around the bush. You don't want to confuse your customers. In the script, it tells you exactly how the products are made, how it's done, how they manufacture it. Follow the script. It's not going to lead you astray. It's laid out for you in an exact manner that you should feel happy about it. If you're not happy about it, the customer is not going to be happy about it. So it's upon you, to relay that to the customer. We've been working with these products for a few months now, some maybe a couple weeks, but you've seen the products, you know the products, so express your true emotions about these products. And the last one kind of follows right into what I just speak about, expressing your emotions. You also got to be positive about it. If you're not convinced of what you're saying, your customer is not going to be convinced of what you're saying, or the receiver is not going to be convinced of what you're saying. So if you believe in it, the customer is more likely to believe in it. If you have doubts about it, the customer automatically has doubts about it. So if you're positive about it, it gives off a positive energy as well. Alright, so those were the 7 effective ways of communicating. I'm just going to review what I talked about. I was talking slowly, active listening, maintaining good eye contact, awareness of your body language, adaptation, expressing your emotion, and maintaining a positive attitude. So, in conclusion, the uses of these processes is not only developmental. Here, it also transfers in all areas of your life. Your home, your work, school, relationship, professional, anything you have to do, you have to communicate. So it's through this communication process that we build collaboration and cooperation. So like my professor always says, and my professor, she was Judith Cope. She taught platform skills at Penn State, and she says, you can't not communicate. Everything you say or everything you don't say, everything you do or don't do sends a message. So regardless of whether you sit there or don't say anything, I'm getting the different messages from everyone. So you're sending a message regardless if you're aware of it or not. All right? And that's it. That's my presentation.